Hey guys, you might be wondering why I'm in my backyard, but guess what? I'm going to be installing a swimming pool. So if you ever wanted to know how to install a swimming pool and know the steps that it takes to get one installed, stay with me in this series and I'm going to show you guys exactly what you can expect and all that it takes to transform your backyard from something like this to a tropical paradise where you got a nice in-ground swimming pool. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Deanin It Yourself. If it's your first time here, welcome. And to all my longtime subscribers, welcome back. So guys, this is going to be a series of videos where I'm going to be documenting the building of a pool. So if you've ever thought about building a pool or interested in building a pool, I'm going to walk you through the steps as I'm going to be doing it myself. I shouldn't say building it myself. I'm going to be having a pool built, but as a contractor, I'm going to have some insight into things you should look for and things you should do if you decide to build a pool. I'm going to try and put out a series of videos on a weekly basis, recapping the week of what went into the construction phase and how the construction of my pool building is going. Along the way, I'm sure there are going to be some ups and downs, some problems that are going to come up, and I'm going to try and tackle them and show you guys what you can expect and some of the things that can happen whenever you decide to take on a project such as building a pool. This is going to be the first video, so this is going to be the outline of what you can expect, and basically it's going to be the first video in the series showing you how this process has started. So this is our backyard as it is right now. We got a covered patio here with 2 ceiling fans, and this is kind of where we lounge. We got a little table out here. Up here we got a little step up to the deck, and we got a grill back there. Of course, in our lounging area, we have a little TV that I mounted on the wall here. If you've not seen my video on how to do it, check it out. I'll show you guys exactly how to mount a TV on the wall. And of course, the patio, which goes pretty much unused for the most part. It's huge, but we don't use it as much as we'd like to, so which is why we decided to get the pool. And of course, we have these 2 huge trees on the left side here. These were planted before we bought the place, and they've grown over the years. And we have a fountain in the middle here, and on the other side we have 2 more trees. Now, as you can see here on the ground, we've done the layout already for the pool. We're going to have a 7x7 jacuzzi here with some stepping stones that lead on either side of the jacuzzi. On this side here, we're going to have a sun deck where we can just hang out and chill. Then we're going to have steps that lead down into the deeper part of the pool, which starts out shallow at 3 feet and then slopes down to the deep end at 5 feet here. And in the back and the deep end of the pool should have a step here that's going to step down into the pool. On the opposite side here, we're going to have a waterfall feature that shoots water into the pool just to give us that nice effect and to dampen some of the sound from the neighbors and the neighborhood. I don't know if you can see it, but behind my house here is the guard gate. It gets a little bit noisy at times, and my wife always complains about it. So hopefully that waterfall feature is going to take that into consideration and help us out in that regard. If you guys have any questions or comments along the way, don't forget, leave them down below. I also will be providing you with the contractor who's doing the work and their information. If you guys like their work, feel free to contact them. I'll see if they can provide some sort of discount for you guys if I refer them to you, but I'm not sure that will actually happen. However, I will try. As the process is going and there are things that have to be done, I will leave links in the description for anything that I do or any side projects during the construction that may need to get done, where I'm going to try and save some costs if I can. Keep the questions coming. If you have them, leave them in the comments below and I'll try to address them so that we can make this process, a pretty cool process, so you and I can interact as the whole pool building thing is going along. If you do decide to get a pool, save this video, especially the first part, because I'm going to outline exactly what you need to do if you do decide to get a pool. So the first step is you want to consult with your significant other, if you have one, and come up with a design. Something in your head, something that you like from pictures on Pinterest, house, whatever it is. Come up with some sort of design and things that you would like. You also should come up with a list of must-haves. So like, if you have to have a spa, you need to know that ahead of time. If you don't want to have a tanning deck, you need to know that. If you want LED lights, bubblers, a heater, a saltwater pool, anything that's must have, you need to have them ready and list them out. And you should have your compromises where you can decide, oh, well, if we don't get this because it's too expensive, then it's not a make or break deal. All right. Once you have that, next you want to go you want to go shopping. When I say shopping, I mean shopping for contractors. Now, in South Florida, contractors are notorious and you don't want to get burnt. So you know, take your time and get some estimates. This is a good time to talk to your neighbors and anybody close to you who've had a pool done and get their feedback as to whether they had a good experience or they didn't have a good experience. Now, in getting the estimates, I would suggest to get at least 3 estimates. That way you can know if somebody's charging you too much or somebody is charging you too little, because there's a big difference. You want to make sure you have an idea. If all the prices come back in the ballpark, then you know that that's going to be the price that you can expect. Once you have your estimates, you want to see what are some cost saving areas that you can have. Now, in my case, for example, I had a big concrete patio with a fountain in the backyard and some huge trees. And the contractor was going to actually remove them for me. However, being a contractor myself and shopping for prices elsewhere, I was able to find somebody who would take out the patio and take out the trees for much less than what the pool contractor was going to charge me, which is a good assumption because, you know, their focus is building pools. They're not a landscaping contractor. So if you guys can find ways to save costs along the way or before you start, that's something you should keep in mind. Now, once you have the estimates, you need to set a budget. Now, when I say set a budget, it doesn't have to be a hard budget, but you need to know if you don't want to spend more than 75,000 or whatever the number is, and your budget and your estimates are coming in at 60,000, then you know you're good. You have a $10,000 buffer. But you want to have some sort of budget so you don't start buying things and doing things that's going to blow your budget out of the water. Next, you want to go ahead and select your contractor. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. Make sure you do your research and make sure you find a contractor that's reputable, has a good track record, and will do quality work. Seen so many times where people get burnt, especially down here in South Florida, where contractors walk off the job, take their money, and people are, you know, rightfully so upset. So do your research, guys, and once you feel comfortable, talk to the person who's working with you as the contractor. You can go ahead and sign that contract. Once you have that contract signed, make sure you read it to make sure you understand what is included in the contract, what the contractor is going to include and is their responsibility, and what is your responsibility. Because believe it or not, there's some things that you're going to need to be responsible for to help during the construction process. Now that you signed the contract, the hard work is done. The pool is going to be built in a week. Just kidding. That's not going to happen. So what's going to happen next is that the contractor is going to prepare a permit package. And basically that's going to include all the drawings and all the things that need to be addressed per code in your area. They're going to get an engineer to do all this stuff, all these drawings, and submit it to your local building department. During this process, they may ask you to prepare some documents. You may have to get a survey of your area, depending on how old your last survey is. And also they're going to need your address and anything that they may need in order to prepare the permit package that needs to be submitted to your local municipality. There's also another package that you may be responsible for if you live in an HOA or you have an HOA. You're going to need approval from your HOA as well. You want to start this process at the same time. It doesn't hurt. Your HOA is going to require you, chances are, to submit the license for the contractor, their insurance. They're also going to need a copy of the drawings that the contractor is going to be using. They are going to need a survey, photos or renderings of what the pool is going to look like with samples of the tiling. It doesn't have to be the exact one that you're going to use, but they're going to need some, a sample color palette, and they're going to need photos of the existing space that you have so that they know exactly what the space look like and what it's going to look like after you're done. All right, so to be honest, that's the hard part of the project. Getting all that paperwork done, signing all the contracts, getting all that stuff ready. It can be cumbersome and tedious, but if you take your time and get this done, this is going to make the process a lot smoother and you're going to run into less problems. Now let's talk about the steps to building a pool and what you can expect once the permits have been approved and once everything is ready to go and your contractor is ready with their plans in hand and they're ready to start building your pool. First of all, don't get too excited. Construction is a process that sometimes can be tedious, and I always tell people it's better that they take their time and do it right than rush it and leave you with problems on the back end. And I know it sounds simple, but a lot of people just want to get their pool built, they've paid the deposit, and they want to start. By the way, chances are you are going to have to pay a deposit, so check your contract again and make sure that you're aware of what the deposit is and what your payment schedule looks like along the way. A lot of times the contractor will break it up into a deposit, then they'll expect another payment once they break ground, then they'll require another payment once they've reached to a certain portion of the project, and then one at the end, or one almost at the end, and then the final once they have been accepted by the building department. All right, so now let's talk about the steps to building the pool. I'm going to just go over them briefly and tell you what they are, but in my future videos, I'm going to actually be documenting each one of these steps as they're actually happening so that you guys can see them while the process is going on. So the first process is a layout and survey. So they're going to come in and they're going to take some measurements of your area that you want the pool at. They're going to mark it. In my case, they marked it on the floor so I could visually see how big or how small the pool is going to be, where it's going to be in relation to everything else in my yard. And that gives you a good visual interpretation of how big the pool is and what it's going to look like. All right, once you're done with the survey and the layout, the first step of groundbreaking is excavation. So they're going to come in, dig the hole essentially for your pool. Next, they're going to go in and do the rebar and framing. It depends on where you are and what they use for framing and structural support. But in my case, they're going to be using rebar and framing. So what this is basically a shell that's going to support your structure. And this has rebar or metal reinforcement to keep the structure safe and protected from cracking or settling or moving. So once they're done with the rebar and the framing, the next thing they're going to come in and do their plumbing and electrical rough, which means they're going to start running electrical conduit, plumbing lines, whether it's PVC or I don't know what they use in your area. Typically it's PVC. They'll run the main drains, all the pumps, connections, all the piping that's going to your pool or leaving your pool, and all the electrical connections for your lights, timers, whatever it is that needs to be run in the walls or around your pool, they're going to do that. Once they're done with the plumbing and electrical, the next thing they're going to do is a shotcrete, or concrete. I'm not sure. I think in my case, we're going to use shotcrete, which is basically like a sprayed concrete, which they spray in to give the pool its form. All right, once they're done with the shotcrete, the next thing is going to be the tiling or the surfacing. So they're going to start tiling and they're going to start putting in whatever surface is going on top of the concrete. Sometimes it's tile, sometimes it's liner. I'm not sure what it is in your case, but that's where they're going to put that in next. But once they're done with that, they're going to start working on the coping, which is the edging around the pool and any decking. And then they're going to do any trim work, anything that's left at the end, putting in the light fixtures, putting everything all together. Then they're going to fill the pool, test the pool, make sure there are no leaks, check everything, the decking, whatever you have that you are expecting to have as your final result, that's what's going to happen next. And after that, your pool is done once you get the final from the building department and your HOA, and you're good to go. The last step is the warranty phase, and you guys make sure you get a warranty from your pool contractor. This is going to cover anything, usually for the first year. If there's any cracks, water leaks, settling of your deck, if you have pavers or travertine or anything that you're not satisfied with, make sure you know who's in charge of the warranty department and stay in close contact with them. And it's going to make your life much better and make your pool build a much more pleasant experience. So now you guys understand what is going to be needed to take this journey and build a pool. I hope you guys are excited as I am to walk this journey with me. Earlier in the video, I mentioned to you guys about cost savings. Now listen, one of the things that you may run into is, like me, I had a existing concrete deck and some trees in my backyard that needed to be removed. Now, I hired some people and some friends of mine with their help to remove this in order to save some money. And to be honest, this was worth it because it was a cost savings that I could justify. And the guys who came to do the trees were professional. They were able to get everything taken down for me as best as possible to leave the area in a good working condition, so that once the contractor came in, that they would be able to start excavating with no problems. Same thing with the concrete patio. I had a friend of mine who has a demo company, and he offered to do it for me, and at a reduced cost, of course. I had to pay. And the guys came in, they chipped up the deck, they removed the fountain, they took everything out and left it ready to go for the pool company when they were ready to start. If you guys are in the South Florida area and you're looking for a good site contractor who does demo and stuff like that, I'll leave a link in the description with their information as well. They're awesome, and I've worked with these guys for years, and I can vouch that their work is usually top class. All right, guys, that's it for the first part, and I'll see you guys in the next episode, hopefully, where we'll probably be starting the excavation. And I expect there to be some issues here, just because I know what my backyard entails and what's going on there. But of course, I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about what those problems are and hopefully troubleshooting them and getting some feedback from you guys as to what you guys think about possible ways to make my journey better. All right, with that said, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys hit that like, subscribe button and follow me along in this journey if you haven't already. Please do so, and turn on your notification bell so you guys can know when I put out a new video in this series. All right, guys, thanks again for watching, and until next time, I will catch you guys in the next video.